Welcome into Talk the Dog, the show where we find a bone to pick and a take to give. These are not hot takes. These is dog takes. Can I talk that dog? What's up? You like that? You really like that? Let's shut up and grind some tape. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in on a Tuesday evening here on the Film Guy Network. Usually on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we bring you hot off the pressers. Unusual today that this being Kirby's first press conference of the week. Obviously a bye week, so Monday, the boss man got to take a day off from the media. Tuesday showed up for his first media availability since the Brock Bowers surgery. Obviously off the rip. That's what most people want to know about. We've got plenty of analysis on that coming up tonight. I want to go through all of the other important things, just kind of rat-a-tat-tat as they come, okay? Because there's a ton of information. You said, Kirby, I heard you overheard you today in pre-show say kind of a typical press conference. They're all typical press conferences, but if you look deep enough, there are some things to learn, right? For example, every week the bye week comes up, or every year the bye week comes up, I'm curious to hear what his terminology is. Is it a work week? Is it a prepare for future opponents week? Is it a, what is it? You know, because last year and years prior, it's been like, bro, they revert to camp. Like, they go back to like, you know, grinding it out, you know, good on good comes out, which for those of you who don't know, good on good in college football really kind of doesn't happen outside of camp, really, at most programs. You don't really go 1v1. You don't have your offense play your defense. You kind of prepare for opponents. At Georgia, even on Tuesdays, most seasons, you know, throughout the year, most time during the season, even on Tuesdays, there's still a little bit of good on good, some 1v1, just because that's the environment, that's the program. My ADD, hold on. That was really going to bother me. Anyways, that's the program. Good on good goes, right? You have to play, you know, 1v1s. Now, during bye week, they extend that time period normally. It is, again, a workman's-like approach for the program. They get back to the standard of workman-like, you know, grind it out, good be good, you know, bloody Tuesdays, if you will, for kind of an extended portion of the week. That wasn't necessarily, I'm not saying that's not what they're doing. That wasn't necessarily the tone today. The tone today was, hey, we're looking at future opponents. We're going to start scouting, you know, down the road. We started today. We'll go even a little bit closer down the road tomorrow, and then we'll start Florida preparations on Thursday and Friday. So I always, you know, they kind of take it as a midweek, you know, approach for the rest of the season, right? And they're fortunate that bye week comes for them every single year at this time, so they can be kind of routine with that. It was also interesting to hear him talk about Lawson Lucky today and said, you know, he was first available for the Auburn game, first cleared actually for the Auburn game, which feels like forever ago. I think he dressed the week before that. What was the game before that? UAB? Yep. Prior to that. So he dressed for the first time against UAB. So that was interesting to hear. But anyways, I also heard him talk about the turf. I wanted to hear him talk about the turf because I watched it on film. I tweeted about it today. I wouldn't necessarily be quiet about it, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. He took a much more higher approach because he obviously has more information. Okay, and part of that information is some of the studies that he has done, and you'll hear him talk about this in this clip today. Go ahead and play it for the folks, Jay Will.
Yeah, Coach, going back and watching it, it seemed like the playing surface might have been an issue, guys slipping, multiple injuries. I'm just curious your thoughts on the playing surface Saturday.
Yeah, I don't get much into that. I hadn't read that anywhere, seen that anywhere. I mean, we had guys slip, sure. We have guys slip every time we play on turf. Actually, there was a game, I can't remember who Kentucky was playing, but I counted like 15 times people slipped in one of the Kentucky games before we played them, and I thought, well, that was Kentucky at home. I think just traditionally, you know, a lot of our college teams don't practice or play much on turf, and when they do, they traditionally have they slip more. We did a big surface study last year that we're looking into to get our indoor better up to date because ours is, I think, on year 9 or 10, and maybe 8 or 9, and we're looking at this monofilament that more of the NFL teams are going to. That's actually what Vandy has, I think. So it's very standard.
So it was interesting to hear him talk about how Vandy has the updated NFL standard turf. Also, Ding, ding, ding. We need to have like a sound when we have a obsessive Kirby clip, which that's obsessive Kirby clip. They've done a complete deep dive on what turf is good, what turf is bad, what turf they need to have. It's been 9 years since we updated ours, talking to expert. Classic Kirby example there. Now, here's my thing about turf. And let's just go ahead and knock this out because turf is, and we'll maybe ask Terrence about this because he trains on turf a lot and plays on and has an obviously lengthy pro career and playing career. You hear him talk about slipping, and the slipping's fine. You slip on natural grass too when it rains. Slipping's not the problem. It's the catching. And I heard Jason Kelsey talk about this and Travis Kelsey talk about this on their podcast today. I think it's called New Heights or whatever it's called. Anyways, the problem is not the slipping. It's once the cleat catches in the turf. Okay, when I am on natural grass and my foot starts to slide or my surface starts to slide, it continues to slide. The ground has been compromised. It continues to rip up, right? That's why you see large pieces of turf coming up. When the turf is bad, right? When real grass is bad, you continue to slide. The slip is not the problem. All right, in turf surfaces, however, once we start to slip, if our foot is still in the ground, once we start to hit that subsurface, that rubble, that turf, our cleats now catch. All right, so we've gone from this slip, catch. All right, and that violent action right there, our body is not prepared for that. Our ligaments are not prepared for that. That, in my opinion, and in the opinion of playing like athletes, I don't know if it's medical, I don't know if it's scientific, I'm just telling you, it makes sense in my head. The natural grass slips out, the turf catches. My body is not prepared to be caught in that moment. My body is sliding, and I see a lot of that. I see a lot of the slipping. I see a lot of the catching, though. And when the catching happens, that's when the injuries happen. Just initial thoughts on turf. I know you mentioned the Bowers injury not being a turf thing, but I'm just telling you, bro, athletes don't feel comfortable no more. They understand the differences, and they can feel it.
Yeah, and there's obviously the athletes know the best or have the best opinion because they play on it the most, but I think that artificial turf, a lot of times, for some reason, gets a bad rap. Like, it seems like every time there's an ACL injury on turf or artificial turf like that, it's the turf. It's got to be this. The field there is terrible. No one does that when it happens on grass. Both of Nick Chubb's knee injuries, like the worst knee injuries you've seen, grass.
But those weren't non-contact injuries. Those were freak accidents where his body is compromised. He's in an unfortunate position. And things happen. Football injuries. Okay. I'm talking about very similar. Bowers' injury Saturday was a football injury. Yeah. I am there for you. Trusses, maybe not. Truss's foot might come out of that turf if it's natural grass. We're not scientists. I understand that. And I understand you're trying to take the other side. I'm just telling you that, like, those injuries don't happen a lot on grass. It's why teams prefer to play on grass.
And again, I get that. I just think that we give artificial turf too much shit. Yeah. And we don't give it enough. I think it's more about the quality of said turf.
Yeah.
If the quality of your artificial turf isn't good, I mean, Georgia practices on artificial turf. 90% of the time they're playing per se, is on artificial turf. I mean, look at Neyland Stadium. You've got Justin Scott Wesley, guys like that. Odell Beckham tore his ACL on grass turf in the Super Bowl, non-contact injury.
Yeah.
So my point is, like, it happens on grass turf too, and no one ever blames grass turf.
So we just blame football?
I don't know. I don't know what to do, honestly, but I don't think it's as much like...
You can't take a substance here. Somebody's got to get blamed.
Yeah, well...
It's either the turf or it's football. So who is it?
It's football.
It's football. Now, I did have a comment on Twitter today that I think is worth looking into. And again, it would take some serious data. But guess what? You guys got all these kind of all these companies and all these different subdivisions inside your massive corporations that are college football programs. So y'all got the resources to dig it up. Since rugby tackling and taking your head out of the play has been enacted in football. Now, I think this got misconceived on Twitter today because rugby guys, and I love you, and they listen, okay? The rugby guys were like, well, we don't have this problem. Yeah, because y'all are rugby players. Y'all been tackling rugby style since rugby started playing. All right, and also, your objective once y'all start getting tackled, I've been watching rugby now, okay? Y'all's objective once y'all starting to get tackled is to go down, put the ball between the next guy's legs so y'all can continue the possession. That's y'all's deal. Y'all are trying to break some arm tackles, but once y'all are koala, y'all kind of give up on that. Because the possession ain't over. Y'all put it between the legs. All right. So it ain't necessarily that. What it is Football players are on these angle tackles. They are arming, and then they're wrapping, and then they're taught to alligator roll nowadays, okay? That is their way of going about it. You watch y'all know the donut? Y'all seen this in practice where they're rolling the donut, and y'all watch these guys tackle, and it's violent. It's a violent ripping and a tearing and a spinning and a rolling. Well, no shit, ankle injuries are up. Because when y'all get to the bottom and guys are trying to fight through arm tackles, guys are spinning and ripping and tearing and pull. Yeah, high ankle sprains are up, coaches, all across America. Because guess what? That tib and fib, the moment they get pulled or twist, that's what a high ankle sprain is. It is not a rolling of an ankle. It's a twisting of an ankle. It is those two bones going whoop, 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 whoop. Okay, so that's why it's up. All right, so we can blame turf, we can blame all that stuff. I know it's a side tangent, but hey, stop not necessarily teaching the rugby tackling because you're trying to take the head and the spine out of the game. I get it. We're saving neck and spinal injuries from tacklers, and we're kind of increasing the ankle injuries. Is what it is. It's pseudo factor. We're trying to make the game safer, and it's not a safe game. That's what it is. But beside the point, let's keep going here. Was asked about Muse and his punt return abilities. Obviously has had a couple of muff punts over the last couple of weeks. Give me a second here, Jay Will. We're already 16 minutes in. We got a lot more observations here on today's presser because there was a lot of news. We still haven't even talked about the Bowers update. Let's go ahead and give Prize Picks some love. Shout out to Prize Picks, our premier sponsor, our family over there at Prize Picks. Use promo code Brooks today. You will get a 100% deposit match over there on Prize Picks. What does that mean? Hey, I'll give you 100. All right, I give Prize Picks 100. They give me 100 right there on the spot using promo code Brooks, matched up to $100. It is Tuesday night, but there is Maction all over the place. There is some Mountain West.
Tuesday.
Some what?
It's Taco Tuesday.
It's Taco Tuesdays over there on Prize Picks as well. So head over to prizepicks.com, promo code Brooks today, 100% deposit match. Also want to give a shout out to the folks over there at the Athletic Collection. Brock obviously out for the next 4 to 6 weeks. If you want to, maybe support that NIL efforts, head over to the Athletic Collection today. MaKai got some as well. They got a tremendous collection over there at the Athletic Collection. Hey, first of all, thank you, Athletic Collection. Second of all, God dang, dude, you're getting good at your freaking job, aren't you?
I try.
You just in your bag over there tonight.
I try, man.
Hey, I'm proud of the kid. Thumbs up for the show as well. Make sure you're subscribing, liking, doing all that good stuff. If you're listening to us, make sure you're subscribing to us over on YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you're subscribing to us over there on Apple, iTunes, and Spotify. Let's get back to this. Let's play this Muse sound because this is what you do. Okay, I got a little too heated, and we're going to talk about an MBR to start that show. Got a little too heated talking about Shane Beamer not defending his players last night. This is how you go about defending your football players. This is how you stand up for them. This is Kirby talking about MaKai Muse, who's struggled a little bit lately with a few muff punts.
Muff punts at this point. Does anything need to change on that front, or is it just a matter of decision-making and going through that process for him?
You ever caught one? You ever caught a rugby left-footed in the wind? I have. I'm glad I'm not back there, and I'm glad Muse is. So I trust him, and I think I got a lot of confidence in him. But until you've gone back there and seen Tim Wakefield's knuckleball do this through the wind, because the other option is don't catch it. I don't think that's a good option either because the ball rolls. So check college football right now to see how many drops and fumble punts there are. They're not your traditional kickoff, and they're not your traditional spirals. They're really hard to catch, and I'm proud of what he's done.
My man said, you ever caught one? Immediately, I don't think you can hear Jordan, but immediately Jordan's like, no. He's like, you ever caught one from a lefty punter knuckling through the air? Coach, the first question, the answer was no. So definitely no on the second one. What are you talking about? Knuckleballing left-footed punters? Pretty gnarly. I guess Vandy's kicker was putting out some sick shit, huh? He even compared it to Tim Wakefield out there with the knuckleball approach. I've seen some nose down spinners, like how they teach American punting, where we're actually trying to kick a spiral. It's the way the ball floats best in the air. Now this knuckleball approach, he's talking about these Australian dudes, these European guys. I don't know what he's talking about. I gotta go find out. I know who would know about this. Andrew Smart.
Or Brett. Oh.
Andrew Smart would know all about this because he out there in pregame messing around with the kickers every pregame. So I pulled Mans off to the side the other day and asked him about his hat because he had a filthy hat on. Did y'all see that?
Yeah.
Ooh. It's Quavo's hat, apparently. They got a whole bunch of them.
Yeah. They did a big giveaway at one of the new apparel shops.
No, it is filthy. So I pulled Mans aside, asked him about the hat. Not that I can be out here wearing logos or nothing, but I like cool hats. I mean, that's why I got Dodgers hats, I got Braves hats, I got Philly. I don't have a Phillies hat.
Yeah,
I
an
don't want
Atlanta
one
Pro
though.
Bowl one up there today.
I had a
Phillies hat might
Falcons
be a
Pro Bowl
sore
hat
subject
on.
around here.
I don't have Phillies hats. I think they're ugly. I think that red and that bright blue. Ugh. But I am a man who prefers to wear hats with the fits, not hats with the affiliations, because I don't really have them. But I do have an affinity for a good-looking hat with a good-looking fit. Nonetheless, I thought it was dope to listen to him stand up for a football player who obviously, needs some backing, right?
Yeah.
You know, I think I checked it the other day. I think MaKai Muse is still like second in the nation for kickoff returns, like average per yard return.
Yeah.
So obviously he's doing something right still.
So we have a quote, and the chat's already blowing it up about the Brock Bowers, replacing him. I thought Kirby nailed exactly what we talked about last night, which is, hey guys, it ain't just gonna come from one dude, right? You can't replace everything that Bowers did with one guy, but you have to. Hey, he blocked really well in space. You know who blocks really well in space? Marcus Jackson. Okay, he did a really good job of stretching teams vertically because he's really, really fast out of position, right? He's disproportionately fast for his position. Okay, well, Arian Smith, CJ Smith, time for you to be disproportionately fast for your position, right? It's time for that guy to step up in that area. Okay, there are multiple different ways. Okay, he's great after the catch. The extension of the run game, ball in his hand behind the line of scrimmage. Hey, Dylan Bell, time for you to step up. Dominic Lovett, time for you to step up in those areas, right? There are a multitude of ways, and I think it's time to play the Superman clip now, of getting to the answer of, guess what? Hey, we ain't got to figure out all the answers from one person. It's not dependent on one person to be Brock Bowers. It's dependent on the team to replace Superman.
If they think that one guy's going to replace Brock Bowers, they're wrong. And if anybody thinks they got to be Superman, they don't need to be on our team because they'll be disappointed. Superman is not real. He's dead. He's not alive. So he's not real. So you can't try to be that guy. So there's no player that we're asking to step up and do more than you can. That's a collective effort. Every player's going to do more. That includes defense, getting turnovers, special teams getting better field position, other guys' opportunities to touch the ball and make the most of it.
Love it. Did Kirby kill Superman?
I was wondering the same thing because it's like he obviously goes, he's not real. He's dead. He's dead. Implying that he was here before and then.
Yeah, implying that he did exist. Now he is dead.
Yeah.
But he was never real.
Maybe
if you died, were you once real?
Yeah, you got to be.
Maybe that was like part of the preseason training for the 2021 defense.
Killing Superman?
Yeah. Let's see how much you're about it.
You got to kill Superman. No kryptonite.
They'd be the ones to do
it's
it.
impossible.
Without kryptonite?
Yeah, isn't that
I don't know, man.
Isn't that the only way he dies?
If anyone could do it, 2021 defense could do it.
Probably.
No doubt. But no, you hear him talking about it right there, and he hit the nail on the head, right? And he came back and kind of doubled down on it a little bit later, and he kind of rat-a-tat-tatted them all, right? He said, I don't believe – he was asked about Oscar Delp's role increasing. That's what it was. And he basically said, immediately was like, I don't believe that to be true. I don't believe Oscar's role somehow becomes, incrementally bigger now because Brock's hurt. That's not how this works, okay? And he did the you guys thing because he loves doing the you guys thing. He said, you guys think we're out here running Brock Bowers plays. That's not how it works. We're out here running plays that are in the system with Brock Bowers. Well, now Brock's out. So, guess what? Dylan's role increases. Marcus Jackson's role increases. Dom's role increases. Delp's role increases, right? Whether it's 11 personnel, 12 personnel, 13 personnel, right? He rat-a-tat-tatted it all. He went through the whole thing, which is basically to say it's a system. Now, the system had Brock Bowers in it, and that's great, but the system would have to be the system even without Brock Bowers, whether it be week 8 this year or come February next year, because guess what? He ain't here forever, all right? But the system better be. Georgia football offense better be. Quick injury report from today's press conference. Xavier Truss was weight-bearing on Saturday. Notice that. Shoe untied because here's why. Deltoid ligament. You know how I gave the feet for free yesterday? Mm-hmm. Put the photo. I said I ripped my deltoid ligament, right? It's pretty cool. We don't have EpiPen actually up there. All right, here we go. We got white balance on these cameras. Okay, the deltoid ligament come down the foot right here. Hold on, come down the foot right here. Okay, it kind of sits like this, and it's got one little fan here, one little fan
I
here.
can't wait to see
one
what
little
this
fan
is.
here. All right, here we go. So this is the ball of your foot. Okay,
Yo.
this is the ball of your foot
Man,
right
your
here.
uterus.
This is that ball of the inside of your foot. Now, it's got one ligament that ties into the top of your ankle. It's got one ligament that ties into the bottom of your ankle, headed towards your foot right here, or your toes. Okay, and then it's got another. It looks like a fan. Okay, they call it the deltoid ligament. You also have one in your shoulder.
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay,
Yeah.
in your shoulder as well. It is essentially the inside of the ball of your foot, okay, and it has 3 different little fan blades. Essentially, the only reason I know this is because I ripped mine completely off. And that's why it looked like that. That's why yesterday when I showed you, it looked like I had a baseball on the inside of my foot because there was so much inflammation.
It looks like the contraption on the Back to the Future car.
100%. And it's also a ligament that if you're an offensive lineman, you'd be all right. You know what I mean? You can play without it.
Yeah, you're not
And,
cutting.
and here's how you do it. You take a really, really stern tape, okay? And you take the inside of your foot right here, okay? And you take that tape and you really, really pull it hard, okay, on this side over here so you're really tight on this side. You basically replace the ligaments with tape.
Be honest. Did you do that just to
No.
show the
I
kicks
was,
off?
yeah, that's
You
what I
saw
was
to show the
thinking.
kicks off, didn't you?
I'm a visual learner. I don't know how you guys are. I'm a visual learner. Are you a visual learner?
I'm a mixture of everything, I
a
think.
little bit everything.
Just be a good teammate, man.
I'm just
Say
saying.
you're a visual learner.
I'm a
No,
visual
I
learner.
learned when you, I learned
I
when
too
you
am a
give us
visual learner.
visuals.
No, anyways, size 12 and a half, no, you can't have them. Monroe Freeling was prophesized by Kirby Smart 3 weeks ago. Called him into his office. He said, hey, Monroe, 3 weeks from now, Xavier Truss is going to go down, and you're going to have to go in against Vandy, and your ass better be ready, okay? It happened 3 weeks ago, and guess what? That's what makes Kirby Smart great. Because he, in all seriousness, he did call him into his office 3 weeks ago and tell him, this was when Amarius went down, obviously. Hey, now you're one play away. Now, I would imagine other coaches do this, but it is the attention to detail, man. Because Kirby don't have meetings with all 85 guys. You know what I mean? He's probably just sitting there going through his notes. Amarius goes down. He writes his own little note. Say, I need to pull Monroe off to the side and let him know, hey, guess what? Now you're on deck. Like, this is your time, right? You might be one play away. So I need you to prepare the next 3 weeks to be ready. Okay, and guess what? Monroe Freely went into the game Saturday, and his ass was ready. It's going to be in our film notes here in a little bit. I got some more on that. I got some good stuff on Monroe. He played exceptionally well and was ready to play. He also gave us a little nugget. I think Tyrion Ingram-Dawkins is taking a medical red shirt. Okay, I'm not officially reporting that, but when I hear the words, he played in one game and then we had to, quote, shut him down, that sounds like a medical red shirt to me. All right, so we'll see. I mean, I haven't seen him attempting to get dressed or do anything like that. I think there might be some medical red shirt, which is good news, right? Michael Williams is not going to play forever at the University of Georgia. Tyrion Ingram-Dawkins is a really, really good player when he's on the field. I think that kind of absence from him has been gone by the wayside this year. Believe it or not, I think that's all my notes.
I've got a question regarding Brock Bowers.
What's up?
So the fact that you don't have him this year
Yes.
for an extended period of time,
I'm just going to assume the rest of regular season. I think
that's a fair assumption,
Yeah.
I would say. Does that prepare you better for next year's offense? Because now you get to see what it looks like without a dynamic player like Brock.
Yeah, because, I mean, just looking at the roster, there's a lot of returning football players. Obviously, you're going to lose Cedric Van Pran-Granger. I think we have Terrence getting let up. That's right. It's a Tuesday. Okay, we got Tuesdays with Terrence coming up here in just a second. I'm sure he's got plenty of opinions about that Vandy football game. But no, man, next year's offense, like I'm not guaranteeing Carson Beck's coming back, but I think you can kind of guarantee Carson Beck's going to come back for a second year as a starter in this offense, just because of how deep the quarterback class is going to be, right? So yeah, you get like 4 or 5 games to kind of dry run what you're going to look like next year with 10 or 11 of your
Just from a concept standpoint
starters.
is where I'm
Yeah.
looking at. Because Brock did so much on the offense.
He
Obviously,
did, but who's to say you don't remain a 12 personnel team when
Yeah.
Lawson Lucky gets 100% right, and 100% comfortable in this offense? I think this is a good question to patch Terrence in on. So let's go ahead and get him pulled in on this dichotomy of whether or not you're going to remain 11 versus 12 personnel and what's going to happen here now that Brock is hurt. Terrence, I've been talking about it. I think you kind of have to morph over the next 4 or 5 weeks into a 12 or 11 personnel football team for this reason and this reason alone. I would rather Ra Thomas and Dominic Lovett have to increase their role and their workload and a Marcus Rasimi-Jack Saint and a Dylan Bell than say, hey, Lawson Lucky, freshman who's 3 weeks off of a tightrope injury yourself, hey, let's throw you to the Wolves right now when our season's kind of in the balance in SEC play. Terrence, what do you think?
No, I totally agree. I think that I would like to see the workload of the wide receivers increase, but I still like the 12 personnel. And I tell people this all the time. Brock, Lucky, and Oscar's skill set is very similar. Mm-hmm. Only thing that Brock has that I don't think those other guys has the yak ability.
Yeah.
Is to run out the catch. Those other guys can run routes, they can catch. Very similar skill set to Brock. Brock just have that run out the catch ability that those other guys don't have.
Yeah, I thought Oscar showed a very unique athletic skill set in high school. Much more so than like Lawson. Lawson struck me as like, oh wow, he's really well rounded. Pierce always struck me as a Chris Durham type. That now has having to like work to play tight end. But in terms of like who is the most similar to Brock, it's always been Oscar for me. Would you agree?
Oh, I definitely agree. I think I said it before. Lawson is probably the best route runner of the group. He could go in and get separation. I just don't think he has the yak ability. He's going to be able to get open and catch the football. But Oscar, I think, has the similar skill as Brock, probably not as fast and not as elusive, but he's just as big or probably even bigger and catches the ball very well.
He is bigger. It's one thing, and we've talked about it here on this show, and I'm kind of repeating myself at this point, but we do so much content. I never know who's new. I never know who's always a lifetime listener. But I think it's going to shock people when Brock goes to the combine and doesn't measure in as this like freakishly large human being. Like, you guys have gotten to really see him as of late. He's not one of these guys. What has made him very, very special is what Terrence talks about. Bro, he's impossible to tackle. And it's kind of when I take still photos of him, Terrence, every single time it's like, okay, he is running with really good pad level. He's running with full brake and full speed. And then next thing I know, here comes defenders, right at his shins. They've just avoided even trying to hit him anywhere near his core. And he's not a huge dude. Okay, so he's kind of a byproduct of the reason he's getting tackled this way is because he's so hard to tackle. Is that not correct?
Oh, it's correct. And just like you said, and I agree, once he go to the combine, it's not going to be Darnell Washington. He's not just going to be this superhuman kind of mutated, bionic lab like Darnell. He's just people just going to cut on his tape. They're just going to salivate of his blocking ability, how tough he is, how well he catches the football, and just how well he gets yards after the catch. And he's hard to tackle. Like you say, he has his balance once he's getting hit is off the charts. Is he able to bounce off tacklers, and people are not able to just get really clean hits on him.
Yeah, Kirby talked about his core strength. And I think that's a lot. I mean, your core is the essential portion of your balance. So that would make sense. Quick question, Terrence. I mean, he's been their leading receptions guy. He's been kind of the core of what they're doing offensively. He is not like irreplaceable, don't get me wrong. But when you lose a target share guy like this midway through the season, it's great the bye week's here. How do you go about, not necessarily redesigning offense, but redesigning offense without Brock Bowers now?
Right. Just one of the things that's going to happen now is who's the defense focus on now.
Yeah.
Going into a game plan, Brock Bowers is first and foremost, how are we going to stop this guy? Now, what do defenses do? Who are their focus going to be? Is it going to be now loading up the box, sending more in the blitz? Like, what is the game plan for defense now? Who they're going to focus on stopping? I just think Ra Thomas is the next guy that has to take his game to the next level. I say Ra because I think he can take his game to the next level, and he has the game to take it to the next level. So, like I said, I love seeing the 11 personnel with, and we have a host of receivers. I think Ladd is getting healthy and healthy by the week. We have a bye week now that hopefully that back can continue to feel better. But Marcus, Dominique and Rara, I just think those three guys there have to step their game up to the next level for this offense to continue to flourish.
I got the all 22 footage in this morning and was kind of watching it. I skipped past the first half. I kind of knew what they were doing. Vandy put a lot of quarters against the 2x2 look from Georgia. And then I'm looking for, hey, what did they do once Bowers went out? Once they know they're not so stressed by 19, what did they do? Immediately, they rolled a safety right into the box. So, like, you're going to get tighter looks, okay? You're going to get tighter pictures as well, meaning, like, it's not going to be so, oh, that safety ran right to Bowers, and here comes Ladd right off of the back of him, right? It's not going to be so clean. And what it looked like in the second half was, all right, now we're really about to find out, not that we didn't know, we saw portions of it, but like it's going to be more tight window throws for Carson. It's going to be a little bit like more trust, like, all right, hey, we can throw that ball. We got to trust that one-on-one. You know what I mean? Where as in weeks past, it's been much clearer of a picture. And my next question for you, Terrence, has nothing to do with Brock. It has much more to do with Lawson, much more to do with Pierce, much more to do with all these younger guys that might get called upon here. Bro, I went through it today, and not that I wasn't unfamiliar with your game or not that I wasn't familiar with your game, but freshman year wasn't nothing to you, buddy. You walked right into SEC football and were ready to rock. So what was the key?
I don't know. Be honestly, man, I tell people all the time, man, my very first game was my career game.
Balled
10
out.
catches, 196 yards, 2 touchdowns. And man, I just thought this was easy, man. I don't know. I got the opportunity, and I loved the game, and I knew how to play the game, and God gave me some ability to go out and play, and it's just all about just being ready when your opportunity and your name is called. I think that's the biggest advice I could give to, especially someone like Lucky. I think Oscar has played enough that he's veteran enough that the stage is not going to be too big for him. Mm-hmm. And with those now, it's like with the defense not focusing on the tight end, I think Oscar can actually have some really good numbers now that the focus of the defense is not going to be the tight end position. It's probably going to be Rah-Rah. So that might be able to get him more opportunities. But I just think for Lawson and Pearson now, you just got to be ready. When your numbers call, when your opportunities come, you got to take advantage of them. And, just be a listener. Whatever these older guys is leading, just listen, keep your head down, and just work. Both of those guys were highly talented receivers. I've worked with both of them for a long time, and skill set is there. Yeah. Now it's nothing like being called upon in crucial moments. That's what they got to be ready for. In crucial moments, can you make that third down catch to move the chains?
We're going to talk about it in film observations. I got some notes from watching it this morning. Lawson looked like a freshman on Saturday, and that's okay. You're supposed to look like a freshman when you're out there. It looked very much so like Oscar Delp against Ohio State last year, where I'm seeing a lot of this. Terrence, you coach a lot of football. You watch a lot of film. When I see this as an offensive player, you're confused. Am I right?
Right. Most definitely. It's moving. I mean, you see people moving across your face, and you really don't understand how fast the game is. At this level, and it's even faster at the next level. So those windows and those, I ain't gonna say ghosts, but those people will slow down once you get the appropriate reps and you get the game action, and your adrenaline is not running so high because you don't want to mess up. You don't want to go out there and not do your best. So it will slow down. I think Lawson now, he's going to probably be the second tight end. Him and Pierce is going to probably rotate from that second tight end, but they're going to be called upon now in that 12 personnel, and it's time for them to step up.
Yeah, it was immediate. I got a lot of questions about, hey, which role did Lawson play? Was he playing the Bowers role? Was he playing the Delp role? I'm here to tell you that it looked very, very similar, like even when Delp and Bowers were in there. Bobo was doing a really good job of making them both do both, so there were no tendencies, right? So I think Kirby said it best today. Oscar's role doesn't suddenly become like drastically more important. He doesn't get a larger work share in practice, or things don't really change. We just have to run offense a different way and get guys mixed in through a different way there. Terrence, just thoughts on like what this offense will look like, or how I should say this. How do you think they go about surviving this rest of the regular season slate without Bowers? And I know a lot of people, the vibe not around this channel and not these comments, we've had a few people come in through here, but you see social media as well. There are Georgia fans out here just being like, there goes the three-peat. Like, Bowers is out. Oh, no, they're going to lose a couple of games. Like, I don't necessarily think that to be the case because I believe in the quarterback and I believe in the system as a whole. What say you?
Oh, I don't think so. I think we really got still a great opportunity to reach the goals that we think this team can reach. I think we will win the East to get opportunity to play in the SEC championship game. I think Oscar would go in and do an incredible job filling in for Brock. We all know what type of football player Brock is, and this is not a one-man show. And it doesn't matter how great Brock is. This is not a one-man show. We have recruited to the level that we haven't seen. And Oscar and Lucky and Piercy, those guys can fill in. Will they be Brock? No, but we do have guys that are just as talented on the outside. I love Dominic. I love Rara. I love Marcus. I love Ladd. So we have guys here that can get the job done.
Hey,
it's just going to look a little differently.
I'm not going to put you on the spot, but I know I get propositioned about this from other coaches, or they at least make jokes in passing about it. But I laughed last year and years past because, like, people had, like, in the Georgia space would complain about lack of weapons. You know, AD was hurt and when Ladd was struggling last year or whatever. And, like, this year Brock goes down and people are like, oh, what are they going to do? What are they going to do? And I know you get talked to these other coaches and they laugh and they joke about the embarrassment of riches that Georgia has. And, like, what a rich man's plight to have. Oh, they lost Brock Bowers. Well, he was a top 100 player. What are they going to do? And he developed into a 5-star player. What are they going to do? He's out. Well, shit, they'll just go to the next 4-star top 100 player in the country. Like, I know you have these conversations with other coaches. What is the vibe around, like, oh, well, of course Georgia's going to be okay. Like, he's a great player. When you talk to other coaches and the embarrassment of riches that Kirby has, you know, earned the right to have, what do they talk about? Because I know you get asked about this or you talk to these guys about this.
I do, and I do, and people gonna ask now, what y'all gonna do now? Brock is out. You know, there's Brock is, like I said, Brock is Brock. We all know what type of talent that he brings, but Brock is not out there by himself. Like, Brock has done a great job these 3 years, but we got dudes out there. we got some dudes out there that's looking, and they came to Georgia for this reason, is to be on this show and be on this opportunity to lead. Just like, I mean, we have lost Jalen Carter. We have lost Nolan Smith. We have lost Jordan Davis, and the next person just stepped up. Does it look the same? No, but it is still getting the job done. So I just know the other guys are going to have the chip on the shoulder, the Oscars and the Ra-Ras and the Dominic. Like, we're still here too. Like, Ra-Ra and Dominic came to Georgia for this reason. And I think those two, and Marcus have played a lot of football. So the moment's not going to be too big for him either. So I don't subscribe to the season is over because the best player is gone. I just think the next man steps up and do his job.
Hey, he is Terrence Edwards. He is still, and it looks like will remain, the all-time leading receiver at the University of Georgia at TE wide receiver WR Academy over on Twitter. Make sure you're hitting Terrence. Oh, Terrence, before I let you go, thoughts on turf versus natural grass? I know you train on a bunch of turf. There was some questions, comments, concerns. I have them. I'd have been loud as hell about that Vandy turf. I thought it was kind of gross watching a bunch of football players slip and fall, and some of them get hurt, like, off the turf Saturday. What's your thoughts on turf versus natural grass before we let you go?
It's different. I think a lot of times that we would like to, like, train and play on turf because if it's raining or whatever the elements are. Convenience. But the grass is still where it's at. If you got a good grass stadium, I know it's like you say, it's not as convenient. You have to cut it. You got to paint it. You got to do all those type things. But I try to train on grass a little bit more because it gives a little bit more than turf. Yeah. And you can get caught up in that turf, but the grass is going to give a lot of times, and that's where you get the divots. And that's why people get turf, because you tear up the grass if you want it. But grass is still needed. Grass is where I like to train at. because I think it prevents a lot of injuries.
Hey, you get $40 million a year from the TV companies. I'm pretty sure you can afford to replace the grass if he leaves divots in it. That's my thoughts, my opinions. I don't think any team in the conference should have it. Y'all got plenty of money. Ain't a single one of you playing a dome neither. All right, so you ain't got to worry about, rolling turf out, whatever. All right, it should be natural grass. I think that's a basic requirement. Terrence, I appreciate you for being here, buddy. We'll talk to you next week.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, no doubt. He is Terrence Edwards. He is the all-time leading receiver at the University of Georgia. And he comes on here and joins this network every single week. Terrence Edwards, give him 3. That is awesome. I know we talk about it every week. Y'all hit that thumbs up button for that. I want to give props to somebody, all right, because I put him out on Twitter today, and I think it takes nads. I'm talking about serious gonads to do what my boy Palmer Thoms did today because he knew what he was doing. Look, understand something. That room with Kirby Smart, when he walks in, whether it be Dion, whether it be Nick Saban, these figures, these big names and people that walk into rooms like this, they got a presence about themselves. They when you lob questions up like this, you're fixing to get dunked on. But guess what? You got to do it. Palmer Thoms standing in the paint like a goddamn champ today. Play this clip because what are you going to do? You have to ask Kirby Smart, do you think he's going to come back? Do you think Brock Bowers is going to come back? You got to ask the question. Somebody had to do it. Palmer Thoms jumped on the nade, and I thought he did so in a relatively admirable fashion.
Kirby, how confident would you say you are that Brock will be back in a Georgia uniform at some point this season?
You really think I'm going to answer that question? I mean, is that all this is about? You guys, all y'all want to talk about is whether he's going to be back or not. That's not, that is the furthest thing from my concern. My concern is this team and getting Brock Bowers healthy. And this team and getting Brock Bowers healthy. To answer that question is speculative. I'm not going to speculate.
Hey, you had to do it. Okay, they teach you that in journalism school, don't they? Don't you have to ask that question?
Nah, I mean,
It's probably one that they would recommend you ask, yeah.
Yeah.
In that situation, that's what everybody wants to know. You're supposed to ask the questions that people want answered. That's a question people want answered.
You're damn right. You said it right there. You are supposed to ask the questions that people want answered. My whole timeline, okay, I tweeted out a video yesterday about how this quit narrative keeps coming up every time first-round draft picks get hurt. And even in those responses, I had people doing that he should quit. Okay, so this is a note. This is a piece of topical information. This is a talking point within not only the fan base, but the sport in general. So yes, Palmer had to ask that question, and I thought he did a good enough job doing it because, again, you're about to get dunked on. You can hear almost the crack in his voice. He knows what's about to happen.
Yeah.
Okay? He knows, all right? And the wherewithal to do it anyways, I think it takes nads. And I think you have to, or at least in this platform, I'm going to give some credit. I think, Palmer did a good job there today. So enough loving up on Palmer. But let's get into these film notes from Saturday. Y'all got anything?
I wanted to propose
I heard
this.
I heard a.
I want to propose this because I've been thinking about it. So with
propose
turf,
to me, baby.
Turf has been a big conversation in this.
Yeah.
But so I played on turf a couple of times in baseball. What I think is interesting is that when you play on turf in baseball, you don't wear cleats. You wear turf shoes, flat bottom shoes, whatever. Yeah. Football, you do wear turf. Now, I know it's probably
more of a cutting sport.
For sure, but I mean, there's change of direction in baseball as well. And I just think it's – so I know it's probably different turf as well. I'm no turf expert. But I think that's a little interesting. I know contact sport.
I think it's different turf in the sense that it doesn't have as many pellets on it because you're not trying to get that soft top. And in the turf that I played on in baseball, bouncy. Almost the ball almost like a rubber ball on the turf. So real thin baseball turf, I'm pretty sure. Y'all walked on that Vandy turf. The softness is the issue. When you walk out there and it feels like you just sank a half inch when you walk onto it.
It felt like there weren't enough pebbles in it.
I think it was the opposite.
Too many.
Yeah, too many. See, again, not turf experts, but I'm just telling you, it's a problem in general. And every player I've asked, problem. Don't like it. Don't like it, don't like it, don't like it. Yeah. So we got a large enough sample size, get rid of it. Okay, you got enough resources, quit being a cheap ass, all of you. Okay, NFL owners too. That's the whole reason they got it, because the stadiums are a venue. We got to put concerts on it. We got to do all these. We got to sell ads. We got to sell all these other events at our stadium in order to keep the lights on. Because we're all so broke. That ain't the excuse in the SEC, Bubba. Vanderbilt, you haven't made we heard from an Associated Press writer Saturday that was based in Nashville. Vanderbilt has not made athletic additions to their program since 1982. What the hell you been doing with the money? Where's it going? Where are you siphoning it to out there in Nashville? Because we walked around that place. Where's it going?
I can tell you I can tell you a couple places it's not going.
Yeah, we can tell you where it's not going. Can't tell you where it is. So that's very, very weird. On to the film observations. Monroe Freeling versus Lawson Lucky. Flow state versus rapid panting. Okay, I can watch Monroe Freeling play on Saturday, and I can tell you his breathing patterns. He sounds like this. Okay, constant, very calm, very fluid, in the flow state, looks comfortable. Lawson Lucky, the whole time.
God, that's going to be a great clip.
I'm telling you. Watch him. Turn the all-22 on. Watch him. Oh, God. The whole time. Okay? Freshman. One played like a freshman, the other did not. All right? Now, that has very little to do, I would imagine, considering Lawson Lucky's background and who he is, with Lawson Lucky just hadn't had the reps that Monroe's had. Monroe's been playing in all these garbage duties, all these mop-up duties, okay? Lawson really just kind of got 100% today, all right? Kirby just said today that he's kind of just now getting back to 100% himself, okay? So, yeah, he didn't look physically ready at the point, okay? He didn't look like he knew what he was quite doing, okay? He didn't look ready to play. Expected. Now, that's him, okay? He will eventually figure all of that out very rapidly as well. Okay, one of these individuals that, I mean, in 6 months, the evaluation of him in high school changed rapidly. He went from a lowly 4-star to a top 150 type evaluation over a spring in his senior season, okay? Or going, junior fall into his senior spring. That was a blossoming in that football player. Okay, you're going to get a blossoming during season this year as he continues to play. This tackle? Holy hell. This tackle at 6'7", 320 pounds, 85-inch arm length, okay, wingspan, as a true freshman, Saturday was playing with single arm dexterity, folks. What does that mean? What does that mean? That means that someone's giving him a speed rush and gets a little bit outside of his comfort zone, gets a little bit, just stick him with one arm, okay, put him back in where you need him, and then stick him with two, okay? Not once in pass pro as a leaner was Monroe Freeling on Saturday. Maybe a couple blown assignments. Saw him run downfield on a play-action pass. Probably don't need to be doing that. But other than that, my God, dude played like he was bro. Okay, calm, flow state, absolute flow state from Monroe Freeling Saturday. I was thoroughly impressed with 58. No, 57? 57. No?
I think it is 58.
No, Blaskey's in 58. I think he's in
57,
57. But what's Fairchild wear?
69.
Nah, let's take Rattlers. Anyways, Monroe Freeling played exceptionally well on Saturday. And guys, he going to be another great one. Just listen to the stats. Again, 6'7", 320 pounds, 85-inch wingspan. I think his individual arms are close to 36 inches. He an absolute guy, and he played like one on Saturday, so that was dope to see. Carson Beck's ability to play football like he trains football is unlike anything I've really evaluated at that position recently. Stetson played with a lot of athleticism and a lot of creativity and a lot of suddenness at all times. He could do whatever he thought right on the spot. Okay, never played within structure. Almost didn't want him to. Almost kind of wanted him to play free. Okay, never wanted him to play in structure. Carson Beck is structure. Carson Beck is who I will turn on if my son ever wants to play this position at like a methodical standpoint. Like, do everything right, son. This is how you do it. And when I watch him, okay, on Saturdays, okay, you talking about flow state, you talking about comfortable, you talking about never flapped, okay, never nervous, always in the calm state of quarterback play. That's him. That's what it looks like. I put a clip out today of him. First of all, identifying they went from a too-high shell to now a cover one robber. He put his eyes right on the middle safety that dropped into the hole, watched him do it, and said, okay, I'm working away now. Went to work away. Ra Thomas had no separation. He said, okay. reset his feet immediately, went to the backside or to the slot on the same side, threw a back shoulder fade to Dominic Lovett. I mean, instantly. Bing, bang, bong. Okay, all while the right tackle and the right guard are losing on a game stunt. Just always in the flow state, always doing the right thing. I think flow state, the key word today. We found out an hour in. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button. We're almost done here. Cedric Van Pran, I tweeted about it today. I think he's in the best 3-game stretch of his life, of his career, I should say, not of his life. He has some Warren Easton clips that are like blindside worthy. Y'all seen that high school tape?
I remember watching it, yeah.
Dude, excessive blocking. Like, hey, son, easy, bro. And then you hear him talking, you're like, oh my God, he's the nicest dude in the world. Now, he was trying to kill people in high school. He still does sometimes on Saturdays. But he's playing phenomenally. They are doing stuff. It's almost akin, and I've talked about this with Jordan Davis, it's almost akin to what they did with Jordan. Jordan changed them schematically a lot defensively because he could just two-gap like nobody's business. He could almost at times take over 3 people. So they could really play with light boxes a lot of the time. It's why Nakobe played in the box a lot and Quay played out, beside the point. Ced's doing a lot of that for you offensively right now as well. Y'all do more leaving the center on an island than probably 90% of college football does. College football doesn't really, and football in general, we don't really ask centers to do a lot of the work by themselves. We almost want to provide help to them all the time. Do you know why? Well, because their hand's between their leg when the ball snaps, okay? So they're a hand down as the play begins. So we almost always want to help that guy out, particularly on combination blocks in the run game. Not at Georgia. They are ISOing that guy a ton. And again, that is a credit and a testament to how good that guy is as a football player. The miscommunications defensively at this point are almost worrisome. They're almost becoming like a problem. And it's not because it's a one-game issue, okay? It's a multitude of things because it's a variety of different ways you've had not necessarily busted assignments, but you've had miscommunications where, okay, we're playing – give me Epic Pen. Let's talk about this right now. Again, this is why I love this studio for a variety of reasons. Holy shiznit. Whole lot of stuff going on over here. We haven't, look at them, my man. All right, so Saturday, y'all were playing a little bracket coverage. Y'all had Tyke in here, okay? Y'all had Kamari Lassiter here, and then you had Javon Bullard over the top. They had 2 receivers. They had an X and a little slot standing right here in a bracketed formation, all right? Now, when this guy pushed vertically, all right, and this guy slipped up inside, all right, 23 continued to run with the guy running vertically. What he should have done is taken the inside guy. That's the whole reason why he was playing inside leverage. So is this a miscommunication? Yes. Is it a busted assignment? No. All right, when this guy doesn't realize that this guy is playing bracket or playing whatever their call for that is, that's just a miscommunication. We can get that fixed. But here's the problem, all right, because enough of these get stacked up over and over again over the year, right? We start to have all of these on tape. We start to put all of this on tape. Our resume is there. So come November, come December, if Lane Kiffin's good enough, his ass will design a game plan that has 12 of those. All right, and guess what? Now we're busted assignments all over the place because we've shown time after time we can be compromised. That's what defense is, guys. It's trying to figure out ways where we become holeless. We don't have any ways where teams can attack us, all right? And if we keep putting shit on tape, eventually they're going to make us, continue to bust coverages or have miscommunications. So there you go. Who out here doing it like that? I mean, seriously, just a little goofy-ass YouTube show with 15,000 subscribers out here just doing it like we do.
Taking on the world.
Just taking on the world. We had some more stuff today, didn't we?
I had a question for the audience. If you want
had a question for the audience. I'm not going to lie. I'm going to be a teammate here. I'm going to buy in on this question as hard as I can buy in on this question. Did you get any Twitter responses from this?
No, I didn't.
Yeah, I didn't think you were going to. Sometimes yeah. Come on.
No, what were you saying?
No, dude. I'm not being a good teammate right now. I am making sure that this segment fails instead of making sure that this segment is
I don't care either way. The question was, if you're a Georgia fan, would you take Brock Bowers coming back, like no ankle injury, knowing he wins the Heisman? You don't know how the season ends. You don't know if you win the Natty. You don't know if you win the SEC championship, but you know Brock Bowers wins the Heisman. Would you do that if it meant you could not watch a single second or listen to the radio broadcast for the rest of the season?
Such an interesting question.
So you just have to read newspaper clippings?
Yeah.
And that's all you get?
So
We get to go back to the breaking.
So basically what you're
Days.
saying is the greatest season since Herschel Walker unfolds before our eyes, but my eyes do not get to see it, and
You
my
don't
ears
get
don't
to
get to
see it.
hear it.
Now I get it.
Then no,
No.
I'm not taking that deal.
Yeah, a Georgia fan probably wouldn't.
And you know
But-
what? People call me selfish because that is a selfish
I was
answer.
about to say,
Like,
that's
everybody
hella
else doesn't get to
selfish,
enjoy
bro.
I would
it.
honestly
Only
That
say
is
the
hella
same thing.
selfish.
But I mean, there's no way.
This is a conversation you two need to like sort out because y'all are students still, and it would be dope to have the experience. I'll get to go to New York this year if that were to happen. I didn't get to go last year, so that would be cool. But I'm gonna see my way out because I don't really have the fandom aspect to it, so it doesn't really is the Heisman something that is valuable to the Georgia fan base? Y'all haven't won it since Herschel. Y'all were in that New York last year for the first time since Garrison Hurst. So.
Look, you don't even have to be a fan to answer this question. Just look at it this way. From January until August, what are you looking forward to?
Watching ball, baby.
Exactly. And why would you not want to watch the best team in the nation right now? So not even the fact that you're a Georgia fan. You always say you love good coaching, love good football. You would want to miss out on that?
No.
Exactly. See? You don't have to be a fan to answer that question.
I like the way Jay will answer.
Man's got tightrope surgery. Tough.
He going to
Just
be
kidding.
back.
I
It's a
love ball. He
hypothetical,
gonna be
man.
back. Back better than ever, literally.
Yeah.
I got to thinking about this. What if you just took like 4 to 6 weeks off in the summer and gave everybody tightrope?
That's what I was thinking because it's like
Both ankles.
it's permanent stability.
It's
right?
permanent stability. It's the way, like, I had a doctor in the Menchies today explaining it all. No, they don't go pull that out. They leave that in forever, and it's just perma stability. So why don't you just give it to everybody?
Yeah, I think the only downside is that it's more likely to fracture, I think is what it was described. That's
Word?
what our doctor in the Discord was saying.
Huh.
If I remember that correctly.
I thought it was like permanently safe forever. What was that ding? I never liked those noises.
Looks
Never
like our
liked those
recording
noises.
stopped. That's it.
That's okay. We ran out of file space. That's all right. See, I knew the ding. Ding's never good. Hey, we've been over an hour. Do we have anything else? Make sure everyone hits that thumbs up button, like, subscribe, rate, and review on the way out. I think we're good. Love you. We'll see you in 5 minutes.